Okay, sorry to hear about the passing of Jerry Burns. Jerry used to come out and practice quite often, and we'd sit down and talk about the good times, the old times, football, how things have changed, and it's always been great having him in my office and visiting with him. So lost a good friend and really good coach. So, but it's nice to get out on the field. Fully vaccinated people now don't have to wear masks, so that's been a big plus. Our rookies have been out there and they're very attentive, obviously, and wanting to learn. They're doing a good job trying to learn techniques and how to practice and things like that. So that's all been really, really good. Looks like we've got a good crop of guys, and excited to get our other players back in here Monday and get back to work.
All right, Matt, followed by Courtney.
Hi, Mike. Kellen Mond talked yesterday about studying Kirk film from last year. Obviously, Kirk has had a lot of success in this system. What would you like Kellen to be watching for that he can take away and learn as he gets ready for the mini camp and training camp?
I think the biggest thing for him right now is just learning the process of the plays, getting in the huddle, out of the huddle, calling the different plays, the different checks that we have. I want him to be himself. We brought him in here as a talented, athletic quarterback, and just want him to be himself. But he can learn, the things he can learn from Kirk are the way that he handles the games, the way that he goes about his business in the classroom, on the field, how to work. A lot of these guys, when they come in, they don't know how to be professionals. So part of that's in the locker room, in the training room, in the weight room. So I think all those types of things.
Mike, we talked to Wyatt Davis yesterday, and he told us, and we saw it in the rookie camp that we got to see, that he'll be starting, at least for now, at right guard. I know this is kind of the time of year where you have more liberty to experiment about moving guys around, but was this a situation where you and the O-line coaches look at, okay, this guy played right guard in college, it makes the most sense to start his NFL development at the position that he played in college?
Well, I think it's a little bit of both. You'd always like to do that. Last year with Cleveland, we moved him. So, it's just where we think they might fit, get a look at them. It's still very early, and I'm sure that won't be the last place he lines up in these next OTAs.
Sam, followed by Chris.
Hey, Mike, what qualities drew you or Andre to the two Pittsburgh defensive linemen, Patrick Jones and Jalen Twyman?
Well, we kind of got on Patrick fairly early in the process. Starting to watch the guys, we liked. Pat plays really, really hard. Twyman opted out, but he had some big sack numbers the year before, and he's athletic. The three technique position, we're looking for guys that have the twitch and the acceleration. So, and kind of, one of the things we've always tried to do when I had Geno Atkins and some of those guys, that are a little bit smaller size guys, we, kind of look for nickel pass rushers, and then they kind of grow into the spot. So we're hoping that he can do that. But Pat plays very hard. He's done a nice job out here so far with us, and we like his length, and we have a certain prototype that we kind of look for in our ends.
Mike, what are your initial impressions of Christian Darrisaw, and what maybe have you learned about him, seeing him live and in person that you didn't know just watching him on film?
Christian's a very good athlete, very, really good feet, good size. So far, he's done a really nice job in the technique of things. So, so far, so good. It's just, we've seen him really 2 walkthroughs in 1 practice. So we'll get to know all these guys a lot better as we move forward.
Lindsay, followed by Mark.
Hi, Coach. I know you already mentioned Coach Burns at the beginning of your press conference, but I was just kind of curious if there was anything specific, I guess, that you learned from him or kind of took away from him in the time that you guys spent together.
Yeah, we talked a lot about the difference of the NFL now as when he was here, and the way that it's become a passing league. But we talked a lot about route concepts and game management. A lot of those things. He's just a great guy to talk to. He might be the only guy that has worse language than me, and so I actually showed his press conference to the team one year. I said, "You guys think I'm bad? Watch this."
Hey, Mike, I was wondering what you were anticipating with the veterans in the off-season program starting next week, and are guys going to show up, do you think, and what impact will it have if they do not show up?
Well, Mark, it's voluntary. So if they don't show up, they don't show up. But I don't think that's going to be the case. The communication that I've had and heard through with the guys, I think they like being here. They like being around each other. They like coming to work and trying to get better. And if they don't show up, we'll coach the guys that are here. That's what we do.
I'll agree on Coach's language observation there. Courtney, followed by Matt.
Is this your press conference, Bob?
For 2 seconds.
Mike, I wanted to ask you about where you feel your cornerback depth is, and the decision to trade Mike Hughes. Did his health factor into that? Was that a concern?
Mike is a terrific kid, and but yeah, he's been injured an awful lot, and we just with the way that everything is now, we just got to kind of get some. We were fortunate to get a couple corners last year in the draft. We signed Patrick Peterson in free agency, so I think that gave us the opportunity to make the trade. But as far as our corner depth, we're always, you can honestly, you guys laugh at me, but you can never have too many good corners. They just get hurt.
We weren't laughing at you after last year, Mike, when they all got hurt. I was going to ask about Cameron Bynum, and he's the scouting reports sort of say that he's a high IQ player, an instinctual player. Just when it comes to transitioning from playing corner to safety, how much of those things were a factor, and where can that show up in someone making that transition?
Well, a lot of that is a good move for corners to go to safeties, especially if a guy has intelligence, like you said. And so far, he seemed very, very brilliant on the field. Understand, we don't have a lot in, obviously, but he's been able to understand the concepts. It's still going to take some time because it's seeing things from a different perspective now. And he was a good tackler in college, so that helps. So those are the kind of things you look for. He's a good athlete, good size. So far, I've been impressed with his athletic ability, and but it will take some time for him to learn to be a safety, I think. But we'll see. He's really smart.
Chris, followed by Mark.
Hey, Mike, I understand that when you were coaching in Missouri in 1980, you had Wyatt Davis's dad, Dwayne, who went on to become an actor as a tight end on the Missouri team. What do you remember about Dwayne, and have you mentioned that to Wyatt at all?
I honestly did not know that, so that's the first I've heard of it. But Dwayne was a good player.
How about just a comment on Wyatt Davis, what you have liked out of him so far in the couple days of minicamp?
Yeah, Wyatt's got terrific size. He's got good movement. Seems to be catching on really well with the footwork and the things that we're doing, and he's looked good in there so far.
Mike, you mentioned the mask earlier. I was curious what's it been like walking around the building without the mask, and how do you anticipate every player will get the vaccine, just don't have to go through all this year?
Yeah, Mark, I don't know. Everybody has their own beliefs on it, I guess. The NFL says basically if you don't have it, you can't coach. You can't be around the players if you're tier 1 or tier 2. Most of our guys have been vaccinated. A couple of, I think there's a few of them that have had the second dose, but it hasn't been 14 days. But it's been great. I mean, you come in there and you can actually talk to people, and they don't when you're yelling. I bet a couple of our coaches have to wear masks though, and so I always have to have them repeat what they say because I can't understand them, and they can understand what I'm saying pretty good right now. So no, it's been good. I hope that I hope that all the players do. Obviously, we're just trying to keep everybody safe and healthy, and but I think I'm not going to get into the politics, but I think this whole country is ready to get rid of these masks.
Time for two more with Courtney and Pierre.
Mike, since day 3 of the draft had such a heavy focus on special teams, what are your thoughts just on having the kick return, punt return, kicker battle coming down, at least to right now, the guys on the roster, so many young guys competing for those spots?
Well, we have to improve a lot on special teams. We weren't very good last year in that area. And, part of it is we got to return the ball better on punts. We got to return it better on kicks. We have to cover better. We have to punt the ball better. All those things are a factor. So we're putting a major emphasis on trying to improve that area of the football team, and obviously with the defense as well.
Mike, you mentioned your depth at corner. Is there a resolution on the horizon to the Jeff Gladney off-field situation? Do you have an update for us on that?
I really don't. We're just letting it all play out. I really can't say what I know, so I'll just leave it at that.